Hello, YouTube. I've got a rematch here against Maskbass, who just beat me in the last game. So, what have we got here? This looks like a Dutchy type thing. Well, since we're big fans of the Dutch around here, that's actually not even a little bit true. I actually am quite convinced that the Dutch is nearly a forced loss for white here. I know that that's not really true, but it just feels that way sometimes. I guess this is a Dutch Leningrad, which I'll be honest with you, even probably worse than a normal Dutch. Let's do this. Seems like a normal type thing to do, right? Makes him think twice about playing pawn out to e6. I wonder if I should play e5 and make his e5, or play d5 to make e5 impossible. An impossibility. That looks like fun. Let's do it. And if he ever plays e6, I can capture, and then his b7 pawn will give him some trouble. So he says, no matter, I'm going to play my knight out to c5. Is that so, sir? I'm going to play this way. Oh, that's probably not very smart. Well, I guess it'll be okay. That's castle. He might play knight e4. I should have played b4 when I had the chance. He is now telling me that I should have played b4. That's what this was about. Let's play this guy out. I'm really kind of flying blind here. So this was my big idea here. Only now he's covered his b7 square. But I can go here now, and I'm threatening the pawn on e6. But he can just pick up that pawn. Way to go, genius. Way to go. You're my hero. Let's have some fun on on f6 maybe. This just looks horrible. Going south in a big hurry. Bolstering is old. Let's go do this. At least maybe I get to trade dark square bishops. That's supposed to be good for me, right? Now I would be all happy and excited to play against his d pawn, except for the part where he just advances it one. Oh, he didn't even bother. Doesn't even bother with it. But I think... Oh, now he can advance. Act like that was his intention all along, I guess. Yeah. Well, let's at least pretend to have some fun. Probably gotta go back to a6. I guess maybe he's thinking about whether or not to play d4. Or just to win to try that out for size. That was probably... This is obviously forced. And all those passed pawns can't be bad. Cannot be bad to have that many passed pawns. Is he going to play rook d4? Probably not, given that I can play e3. I think he's going to let me get one pawn back. It's pretty generous of him, really. Maybe he'll play rook d2. Yep. Well, he's going to have at least one tempo before he can do anything. That's nice. I like that. He'd like to take on f2. Let's do this. Because now if he takes an f2, I'm going to win something. He can't do that now. So, you want to go on the 7th? Well, so do I. Oh, but you're just going to play c4 now. Makes me sad. Oh, well, no, you didn't. You were perhaps better than that. What is happening? He'll play b3 now, or b4 rather. I will commence crying at some stage. I wonder. Too bad I don't have like a dark square bishop I can get. I have a check, but that's just kind of spiteful. Ooh, I do have a check. So if he plays b4, I have check, king to the corner. Aww. Throw that check in anyway. And now I play here, which does me really nothing, because now he can just take on f2. Do I trade? Maybe I should trade. I guess I have to, and now I'm going to come back and hit that one. He can't advance it, because if he... Okay, so now I can hit this one. Maybe I will get myself into a salvageable position. I don't know, though. It looks pretty ugly. But I think that I'm for sure going to get the c-pawn back. And with the light square bishop, maybe going to be okay. I wonder if he'll play like rook. If he plays rook d8, I'm not so worried, because I just take with the rook. I'm defending my bishop and attacking a5. All in one go. Which I'm happy about that. Okay, so he goes for it. Is there any way that... I don't see anywhere that his knight can go. It's going to cause me too many problems. So if I take, he can play knight a4, but then I'll just play... oh, okay, so this is his idea. His idea is if I take there, he'll play a4, I'll play rook. Oh no, that won't. It almost works, but not quite. I just have to make sure I don't go to b4 after he plays knight a4. Does he have... Okay, so he goes here, and now I have this move. I'm still threatening to take it, because if he... I'm not worried about it, because I'll get his knight back in return. I'll actually be a pawn up if we do that. So I may have a real position here. Does he have to play knight to e3? If he plays knight d3, I'm thinking bishop c4. I might be squeezing my way out of this horrible situation I found myself in. I think he has trouble holding the b-pawn now. Can't advance it. I don't know, maybe he can. I think he's trying to decide, okay, so... Okay, I think... Continue on with plan, right? Okay, so... we just take it and we're going to win the b-pawn. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this pawn up there, and I think this should be a draw. Yep, oh, maybe not, because it's not, he hasn't, let's take that pawn while we can. Okay, now it's a draw for sure. See, with his pawn still on a3, he could have brought his king up and stuck it in behind, but now that's not possible. So I just have to keep my king on g or h, and it's easy. Just check him for fun. Come back here, and I'll just check him along the back rank for a while. You know, I don't even know. I'm actually up a pawn here, so this might even be winnable. But I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to be happy with the draw against a higher rated player. I think he is acquiesced to get it, to give a draw. So we'll click draw, and it's a draw by repetition. Woohoo! I saved that game. Alright, so I went from a pretty terrible position to much, much worse. It really was a lucky save, because I felt like it was definitely much, much worse. So let's go analyze mode. I'm unsure of what I should have done in this position, in this game. It's a Dutch game, which I know I should be trying to play e4, and I actually had some opportunities to play it early in the game. So I played d5, which stops him from being able to play e5 himself. So he plays knight a6, and I can't play b4 yet because of the knight. The knight's going to hit it, so I wonder if this wasn't an idea. And then after here, I go there, but I was worried that he would play like this. I maybe have some problems. No, I don't know if I have any problems here. No, I do have problems for sure there, because my bishop is a pretty serious problem. So if I wanted to play this idea, after this, I would have had to have gone there. And if he goes here, I still have problems. And I still have some pretty serious problems because of the pen. I can't capture here because of this move. Although, what's this look like? I'm down. No, I'm down the whole rook there. That's not anywhere near okay. So maybe this a3 plan was not functional. Instead I played knight h3. I know that this is an idea to put the knight on f4, but I'm not sure if this is a hot idea with the bishop on g5 because I'm worried about the pawn coming up to this square. Oops, I still have got to learn how to make those stop happening. So instead we got this situation, which the knight being on c5 was a good move. Oh, I did have an opportunity. Okay, so I instead of castling, if I had played this move. So I don't know if this is any better than before. I think I still have a lot of the same problems. Maybe I just go here, and because the knight's still covered, my bishop is covered now, and maybe I can play knight. I'm threatening to go knight into e6. So like this, and I'm maybe gonna get this. This bishop looks really nice. I've got my rook off. I don't know. I think this looks better than what happened. Yeah, I think I like this somewhat. I mean, he's got the bishop on the long diagonal, and so do I. But there's no targets on his long diagonal. But there are some on his. I mean, he can't. He'll have to play like maybe here. I'm worried about this pawn on e6 falling soon, though. Is that I have to like castle, and then maybe he just does this, and I don't know. I guess we can try attacking that pawn. Again, taking it would be, I get some of my own things on e6, plus it's more trouble on b7, so he's not going to take it, but then if he takes here, I have this, and actually I'm going to win exchange, because if he goes to c8, then I have this move. So it seems like that this was probably a better route to go than what I did. Instead, I just sort of routinely castled, and he plays this nice a5 move, which is going to make it nearly impossible to play b4. So I could play here. I can't play here immediately trying to go here on the next move, because he just clamps. And now I'll never get to play b4. So I instead instead I'd have to play b3, and I thought that this was just problematic because I don't know, maybe even something like that is a problem. Yeah, because I can't. I mean, this is just awful. So b3 isn't really an option. So the a5 really just shut that down entirely. So instead, I played queen d2, just sort of developing out. He made the break, and I got to take, which I like to do. And I threatened to take that, but that just overlooks that I down a pawn. So yeah, that just drops a pawn. I should have. I don't want to play b3 for the same reasons as before. Although it's not so bad this time because my queen is defending. But even so, this was not that good of a situation for me. Takes. So I just decided to get the knight in on a good square and maybe cause him some problems somewhere, but it really didn't. Traded. He let me think we were going to get some pressure on d6, and then finally I got him talked into advancing the pawn. And now, I don't know if this was good. So, I guess it did win a pawn. It did indeed. Which I didn't, again, I was sort of already playing in a defeatist attitude and didn't really have any ideas. So, he captured, I captured, of course, he captured, I went back, and now I'm going to try to get that pawn back, which he can't really stop me, but I go here, and I actually got some play. I thought this was a good move, because, again, he can't go here because of this, and then the other way, he can't go here, which is even worse because of that. So, so instead, he played rook up to try to kick my rook. I went to the 7th, and I thought for a minute that he would defend the knight that way and renew his threat here, but actually he can't, because check moves out of the way, and then I win that, and I got what I want. And it looks pretty promising that I'm going to get to pick up a piece there. So he can't do that. That bishop resource coming out to the check on d5 actually really sort of saves me. So instead he plays b5. So I went after that pawn, thinking he can't take the pawn because I'll get the knight, but I don't know, 3 connected pass pawns could be trouble. So that might have been something worth trying. So I went ahead and threw in the check anyway just to defend the a pawn, because I was thinking that I may play rook d1, but I decided to trade anyway, because I was pretty certain I could win back one of the pawns no matter what, because my rook and bishop are very, very active, and his rook on f8 is not so active. So the only way he's got to defend that pawn is to advance it, but now I get to go here. If I had gone to attack the c pawn first, it probably would have worked, actually, because he would advance. If he would have, so after this, advance, and then I come here, yeah, I guess that still works because no, it doesn't, because now it's covered by the knight. And if I came back now, he could advance it again. So no, that doesn't work. So it was important that I played it in this order. So he advances, and I go here to attack it, and he has no way to defend it. So he attacks my rook, or my bishop, take. And here, I thought that his idea was to play like this, when in my head initially I thought I'd have to go here and then he would do this. But that isn't actually true. If he does that, I'll just take here. And I'm actually up a pawn now and probably better, and the b4 pawn is really weak, and I'll probably be able to pick it up since his knight's hanging, so he would still probably have to go there. I'd probably play that move, and yeah, this looks pretty good for me, I think. So instead, he did not do that. He played a4, which I went to attack this pawn, and I was a little bit worried about if he played here. I had planned to do this, but that move I was a little bit concerned about. But I think after this, I'm probably okay. So I'll do something like that, and then, yeah, I have to just take it. And he'll take here, and I'll take here, and this looks definitely better for me. Maybe. I'm up 2 pawns, so I think good winning chances. But yeah, after b3, if I take there and try to go back here and he puts there, if I try to move the bishop anywhere, I'm in some. No, I guess I can play it right there. Yeah, I can do that. But I still think that the other way is just as good for me. I was worried because he would have rook d1 check, but the bishop covers that here. Instead, we got not that. Here we go. Where's the actual game? Yeah, so we got this knight d3, which I just went to attack it. That was probably a good move. Takes, goes here, I went back there. I played the pawn up to h4 because having this pawn formation is supposed to be strong, the strongest formation to keep black from breaking down. We're equal material, so maybe I should have been considering trying to make my own pass pawn, because I think that with his pawn on a3, I don't think that I can. I don't think I can really hold it. I think he made a real mistake later on, whenever he played the pawn down to a2. I think instead of playing h4, I should have done this. And now there's no way for his king to make progress without him first moving his king all the way along the 8th rank. And in that time, I probably could have got my king and pawn somewhat more advanced to create counterplay over here. I think this was definitely better. By playing h4 immediately, I allowed his king to start coming up. And that, I got to grab the pawn while I could. He advanced. He's threatening to check on g1 and then queen. Or even just move the rook off the line anywhere and then queen. Actually, he doesn't need to check. So I come back, but I still think that he shouldn't have played this. He should have, I don't know, if he just brought his king up, then I could have continued attacking these pawns and maybe end up in a winning position, because I could maybe sack my rook eventually for the a pawn, and then have maybe a 4-on-1. So something like, if we end up like in this kind of a situation, he's going to help his pawn. And the reason why, and so now if I try to, if he just comes over here to clover, he's got this thing going on where he can, and if I come back here, well, he can bring his king out, but that doesn't matter. So the idea is something like this. If I just wait, and so he's going to be able to eventually queen his pawn this way. But I have a lot of extra pawns, so maybe this wouldn't have worked for him. But instead, what he did absolutely guaranteed that I had at least a draw when he played a2 here, because now as long as I can trade all three of these pawns for this one pawn, which clearly I can do if I want, I have a guaranteed draw as long as I can keep my king on the G and H file. Although honestly, since I have a pawn on f2, I probably should have considered playing this for a win. Because I can bring the king up to f3, and then I can maybe consider playing. I can play f3, and then f4, and then over to g5, and I have these pawns as cover. So yeah, I maybe had chances to play this for a win. Instead, I would just decided to be happy with the draw repetition, and took it. So it'd be interesting to play that out and see if I could have managed to get a win here. All thanks to my pawn still being on f2, giving me a shield, so I don't fall for that skewer trick. So just show you what I mean. If I were to do something like this, so I come back here, say he comes down, and I don't know, let's just say I did this move, and he does whatever, it doesn't matter. If I come over here, he can play this, and I can take here, even if his king couldn't take. Say he still has this move, and this is quite bad for me. Anyway, nice draw against a considerably higher rated player, and even had a chance for a win at the end, even after I blew the middle. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.